morning, everybody. Really delighted today to welcome you to our Minimising Food Waste webinar, How to Protect Your Profits and the Planet. This is one of a series of webinars that we're running as part of our virtual Summer Food Festival. We're absolutely delighted to be able to bring you this session today in collaboration with Arla Pro, Too Good To Go and Wrap. In this session, we'll be covering lots and lots of practical ways that you can reduce food in your kitchen, sustainable future, and to really help protect the planet and obviously the profits within your business. We'll share invaluable tips, insights, lots and lots of simple practical hacks, which we hope you find really, really useful, that you can take away and implement in your business. The session was pre-recorded, just so you know, to maintain social distancing. So we'll be playing a short video for you that we made in advance soon. But I'm also delighted to be joined by a fantastic host of speakers for you. We've got Hugh Jones, Business Engagement Specialist, Food Waste Reduction and Roadmap for Wrap, Craig Smith, Food Service Controller at Arla Pro, Jason Calcutt, Commercial Executive Chef at Arla Pro, Amy Crummy, who's co-founder of Too Good To Go, Mark Irish, Head of Food Development for Brakes, and Kathy Amos, Head of Customer Marketing for Brakes. So really delighted that they could be with us to help answer your questions in the live Q&A at the end. If you do want to submit a question during this session, please feel free to do so. That would be absolutely fantastic. You can do that using the Q&A function within your Zoom bar at the bottom. We've also got some absolutely brilliant resources for you to take away, which you can download using the QR code or the short link at the end of the session. But don't fear if you don't have time today. We'll be recording this session and making the resources all available online afterwards via YouTube or via our event page on brakes.com. So do go out and check it out there. Plus, we'll be providing more details of the other webinars that we've got planned for the rest of the event. So do enjoy the session. Do feel free to ask questions, and we'll play the pre-recording for you now.
Morning all, and delighted that you're joining us this morning for our webinar on how to minimise food waste, a topic that we're all hugely passionate about in this industry. We've got a really exciting collection of speakers to talk to you today with some of our partners, Guardians of Grub, with Wrap, Too Good To Go and Arla Pro. So really pleased to take you through, hopefully to raise some awareness and take you through some insights on how we can all collectively work together. And if I can just start with some introductions. So from the Brakes team, well, there's myself, I'm Janice Rockwell. I'm one of the category merchandising directors, looking after a number of key food areas for the business and suppliers. I've been with Brakes for 5 years, but I also lead on the CSR agenda within Brakes. So I've been doing that for about the last 3 years, an area very passionate about, lead the CSR Council. And I also work across with the US with our partner, or should I say parent company, Cisco, on setting the agenda, which I'll take you through in a minute. If I can just start by introducing the rest of the Brakes team. So firstly, Mark Irish.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Mark Irish. I head up the food development team at Brakes, working very closely with our marketing, merchandising and development chefs team. Mainly focused on activity around food, obviously, but things like recipe and menu development, also involved in food events, exhibitions, webinars. And I'm also responsible for managing the 2 food innovation centres we have at Covent Garden and Reading. And lastly, I'm part of the wider group of people that sign off on new product ranges for the business. I'd also like to say how delighted we are to be hosting this webinar today. We know from our own insight how important food waste is to our customers. They're all looking for solutions and support in this area. So as well as some amazing insight that we're going to share with you, we do have a lot of tools, we do have a lot of resources, revenue drivers, training programs, hints, tips and kitchen hacks to share with you. So hopefully that will help you on your journey as you embark on bringing food wastage reduction into your kitchens. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Next, I'll introduce Kathy Amos.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Kathy Amos. I head up the customer marketing at Breaks, looking after our customers that operate in schools, universities, care homes, contract catering, and hospitals. Got a brilliant team of chefs who work really closely with our customers and alongside Mark's team as far as MPD is concerned and merchandising. And we are really passionate about ensuring when we work with our customers, we do everything to minimise food waste. It's a topic close to all of our hearts. I also sit on the CSR Council and work alongside Janice and some other colleagues who are all energised and passionate about this subject. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. And over to Fran Morgan.
Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining today. I'm Fran Morgan, I'm from the marketing team and work on the virtual food event. Delighted to bring this fantastic session to you, working with everybody here today. As we've been saying, this is a huge topic and incredibly important. And I'm really pleased to be able to bring you a programme of webinars across the whole event on some of the critical topics for food service today. So we really hope you enjoy this session. There's a live Q&A at the end, so do stay on for that and more information about the other webinars in this event.
Thanks, Fran. And now if I can start by introducing our key experts who are here today, our key partners. So firstly, we have Eleanor Morris from WRAP, leading the project Guardians of Grub.
Morning, and thank you so much for inviting us. So I work for WRAP, which is a sustainability charity. Our vision is to have a world where resources are used sustainably. Part of the work that we do is about linking with businesses and industry on reducing waste, and in particular food waste, and that's where Guardians of Grub comes in. I work with the hospitality and food sector activities that WRAP undertakes, and the Guardians of Grub campaign has got loads of free tools and materials that I'll be telling you about shortly. So thank you for the invitation.
Thanks, Eleanor. And now over to Jamie Crummy, who's one of the co-founders of Too Good To Go.
Hello, everybody. And again, I'll echo what's been said. Thanks so much for inviting us to speak today. It's brilliant to have an audience of enthused people working in the industry. Here at Too Good To Go, we're on a mission to inspire and empower everybody to fight food waste together. And food waste is at the core of what we do. We're a B Corp, a social impact company that connects consumers with businesses who have surplus food for sale. So excited to tell you more about how you can keep food waste on the menu when you're reopening up this summer.
Thanks, Jamie. And finally, over to Arla Pro, we have Jenny Hodgkin-Silk and we have Jason Culkett. So if I start with Jenna. Hi, Jenna.
Hi, Janice, and hi, everyone. So excited to be here. My role at Arla is in the marketing department, and I'm also joined by Jason, our executive chef. Many of you might know Arla Pro is the food service division of Arla Foods. We are a farmer-owned dairy cooperative, best known for some of our leading brands like Lurpak, Anchor, Cravendale and Lacto Free. Arla Pro is all about food service, supplying natural dairy quality ingredients back of house, and we're super passionate about our sustainability journey, and in particular food waste. So really exciting to share some of the work that we've been doing with the Sustainable Restaurant Association here with you today.
Thanks, Jenna. And finally, Jason.
Hi guys, so I'm Jason Culkett, the Commercial Executive Chef for Arla Pro UK. So I work with chefs to find the right sustainable dairy solutions for their menus, and and it's so important to keep food waste on the agenda, even though it's a core thing running through menus for chefs. It's so important in the kitchen, food waste, but actually keeping it on the agenda and everyone on track with it is mega important. So it's great to be here today to talk about that.
Thanks so much, Jason. And I think, as Fran said, there will be an opportunity once you've heard everything, going through all the presentations today, to ask some questions at the end. So if we start off, I'm going to take you through, firstly, the Breaks CSR journey before handing you over to Eleanor. For those of you who don't know Breaks, we are the UK's leading delivered wholesaler. We deliver to more than 30,000 customers. We serve more than 30,000 customers. We offer more than 10,000 products in our range, and we work with over 700 suppliers. So it really is our responsibility to help to drive change through the industry. Break's CSR journey, we have a holistic framework which supports our parent company Cisco's US global CSR framework around people, product and planet. And we try to ensure that all our activities support every community, that we source products responsibly, and that we protect the natural resources of our planet. We really believe that acting today to protect tomorrow requires a collective response. And as such, we have some breaks initiatives that we work with and some commitments that we have made. As you can see here, some of the journey that we've got through to 2025. And we also have and support industry initiatives, the key one being, of which we are obviously talking about today, food waste reduction, and how we can better manage our surplus. So one of the key things I think to be aware of, and I'm sure you'll be taken through many stats and facts today, but one of the key facts from WRAP is that at home, the average family throws away over £800 of food per year. Now, I'm sure that's never mind what the activity and food waste has been through lockdown, and never mind the impact of the commercial kitchen. So we have a huge responsibility to try to better manage the surplus and ensure that we are minimising the food waste in the first place. So we are supporting the WRAP initiative to collectively reduce food waste by 50% by 2030 as an industry. And as such, we're supplying our own figures each September on the work that we are doing within our own business. We also have a long-standing partnership extending more than 10 years with FareShare, during which time we have redistributed the equivalent of more than 5 million meals to those who need it, as well as supporting charities local to our depots. And we're really proud that at Breaks, we actually just won the 2020 Food Redistribution Award at the Waste 2.0 Awards. So thrilled that a lot of the work that we are doing is making a difference, but clearly today is all about how we can support you, customers, chefs and caterers to make a difference to minimise food waste in your premises. So let me hand over to Eleanor to take us through Guardians of Grub.
Thanks so much, Janice. And once again, thanks so much for this opportunity and the webinar. It's just fantastic to see so much passion and interest in reducing food waste. And that's really what Guardians of Grub is all about. So wasting food feeds climate change. I'm going to talk with you today about some of the tools that we've got for Guardians and how they can help you to protect your profits and our planet. So we've developed the Guardians of Grub campaign to increase the awareness of the link that wasting food feeds climate change and it costs money. There are loads of buzzwords out there at the moment, and it can be really challenging to know what's the right thing to do for the planet. When it comes to hospitality and food service, actually the focus on feeding people, not bins, can be one of the biggest changes that you can make within your business on the path to achieving net zero. Not only that, the tools that I'll be highlighting to you today will provide you with the evidence that you're taking action, because greenwashing can really impact on trust. Proven action is important to staff, investors, for example, with environmental social governance, as well as consumers. And we've all got a role to play across the hospitality and food service sector. The Guardians of Grub campaign focuses on bringing the whole team together to protect profits and our planet. And it's just brilliant to see the essence of that today with this webinar. We've got tried and tested tools, and what's more, they're completely free for you to access. What are we doing in the UK? Well, there's a global goal called United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 12.3. And that is, as Janice just referred to, is that 50% by 2030. So reducing food loss and waste by 50% by the year 2030. Within the UK, we've taken that global goal and interpreted it into the UK Food Waste Reduction Roadmap together with IGT. And we're really leading the way with aligning that target alongside our voluntary agreement, the Quartile Commitment, which takes food waste as well as water and greenhouse gas impact. So the mantra for the roadmap is target, measure, act. Set a food waste reduction target, measure, and then take action with your suppliers, within your operations, and so on. And it's really not data for data's sake. This is about real change. It's about understanding where that food waste is coming from and then taking action to make sure that it's reduced. Detailed savings and adding the value to clients. So the stats in the UK are that over 1 million tonnes of food waste ends up in the bin from the hospitality and food service sector. The most staggering fact around this is that 75% of the food that is being thrown away could have been eaten. And that is the focus for the work of Guardians of Grub. That is about understanding how can we change that number so that we're not throwing any edible food away. Some of the tools that we've got to help achieve that with the sector include this really simple cost saving calculator. So in 4 clicks of a mouse, you can see how much food waste is costing you, and that by setting a target, what you could be saving every year. And that's in financial savings as well as carbon savings and the equivalent of cars taken off the road. All of the tools that we have follow this principle of target, measure, act, because without knowing how much waste there is, you have a business blind spot and there are savings to be made. So where do you start? Well, getting cracking with tracking is our phrase. So it really is as easy as 1, 2, 3. And the principle is around seeing is believing. And the only way that you can see waste is to weigh it. So that's where we start with these containers and bin labels. You can have 3 or 4 containers. You add the weights to the tracking sheet, number 2, and then you add that data either to the Guardian's tracking calculator for 4 weeks, which is Excel based, to see where your hotspots are. Or you can use the Unilever Food Solutions Wise Up on Waste online tool, which is also free, so that you can understand as a team where your hotspots are and then take action to understand how you can make change happen on the ground. And we've got absolutely loads of case studies. This is an example from the Ship Inn, who started to use the tools to understand how they could reduce their food waste. One of the most significant areas for them was the amount of plate waste that they had. But by understanding where it was coming from and looking at it in more detail, what they did was offer smaller portion sizes, particularly of chips and sauces, and also looking at removing some of the garnishes. So they had happier customers because the customers didn't want to waste the food. And obviously it was better for their profit margins as well. We all know that skills are really key to making this kind of change happen. So we've got free learning for you and your teams that's available right now. So you can use this to build back better and make sure that your teams have got the skills to make food waste a thing of the past on your sites. First off, we've got the 15-minute cost savings skills course, which walks you through Target, Measure, Act in your business and signposts you to all of the Guardians of Grub tools that you need, the tracking sheets, the calculators, we've got action plans, bin labels, campaign packs, everything that you need. And if you want to take your learning one step further, we have a new cohort for our free behaviour change course, where learners can receive certificates, progress reports, access podcasts and guidance. There are 5 levels, which range from the basics to getting set up in the kitchen to embedding your food waste reduction plans across your business. So, for example, with standard operating procedures and key performance indicators. You can see this is quite a busy slide, but we've got loads of comments and quotes from people who have been through the course and have found it really useful. We have a webinar on the 17th of June, so today, to understand how you can get involved. So if you register for the webinar, you will access the recorded version of that. So please do click on the link and we'll be sharing that with you afterwards. So the next cohort will start in July and will be open until the end of September. So please do get in touch, or you can email guardiansofgrub@rap.org.uk. So we're all on a mission to stop food from ending up in the bin, and there has never been a more critical time to protect the profits of the hospitality and food service sectors. I would urge you to sign up to Guardians of Grub by taking the pledge, using the operational tools and courses so that you can get cracking with tracking, and use the campaign pack where we've got copy and social media images, everything that you need to share with businesses and the businesses that you work with, so that we can all work together to feed people, not bins. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Eleanor. That was so interesting. And as you say, a real opportunity for everyone to take the pledge. I'd now like to hand over, please, to Jamie Crummy from Too Good To Go.
Hello, everybody. I am Jamie Crummy, one of the co-founders of Too Good To Go, and I am super excited to be speaking to you today about how we can fight food waste together. One of the things I wanted to highlight, first of all, is just the issue of food waste. You know, a third of all the food produced globally ends up being wasted, meaning that by the end of this 10-minute presentation, over 31,200 tons of food is going to be wasted, you know, and that's tons, not kilos. So the rate in which food waste is being wasted is truly astronomical. And the implications of food waste is hugely impactful on our environment. So really, if there is one piece of information that I leave with you today after this sort of 5-10 minutes, is that reducing food waste is the most immediate, it's the most impactful and simple actions that we as individuals, but importantly as business leaders as well, can take against climate change as well. And this is so important in the context of the climate emergency that we find ourselves in. So a bit more about ourselves at Too Good To Go. Well, we're a social impact company, as I said, a B Corp, and we're the world's largest B2C marketplace for surplus food. So our app connects individuals with businesses who have surplus food for sale. We're operating in the UK, in Europe, and the US, and in just over 5 years have rescued over 74 million meals from going to waste, with nearly 100,000 different food businesses joining us on this journey. And what this really highlights is the appetite for both individuals but businesses as well to start fighting food waste together. So a bit more on how the mobile app works itself. Well, the app is geolocated, and a user will log on to the Too Good To Go app, and they'll see a whole host of participating food businesses, which range from your local cafe to local bakery, through to high street coffee chains and restaurants, to retailers and convenience stores, to hotels and contract caterers, and even food producers. Then the user will purchase through the app what we refer to as a magic bag from their desired food business. And then they turn up at that location during an allotted collection time to collect their meal. So you're probably wondering what the magic bag is. Well, the very essence of food waste is unpredictable. You know, if you as a food business knew what food you were throwing away on a day-to-day basis, you know, you'd probably try and do something about it. But you know, given the stresses and complications of running a food business, that's often difficult to track or predict. So what the magic bag is, it's an opportunity for a food business to fill up a bag or box with whatever food is left at the end of service. Now, this in itself is something that's really fun and really engaging for our users and for our customers. You know, I often like to sort of term about what's more fun than going collecting a magic bag from a French patisserie filled with different cakes and sweet treats like that. You know, it really is engaging, and you could probably tell I've got a bit of a sweet tooth myself. But it's something which is flexible, it's fun, it's fast, and it's future-proof. This in itself is what we term the triple win. It's a win-win. And what I mean by this is it's a win for the individual, for the customer themselves, as they're able to discover new foods, discover new flavors, discover new brands, discover new businesses, and do so and collect food at prices which don't cost the earth. Now, at the same time, for the business yourselves, you know, you're able to cut down on your wastage. You're able to reach new customers and win back those sunk costs, but ultimately, you know, not have to throw away that amazing food which you spent all day serving or preparing. And ultimately, it's a win for the planet, because none of this amazing food is going to waste and harming our planet. So with all this, and in the context of the situation we're in at the moment, you know, what I really want to stress today is that, you know, sustainability can stay on the menu, and it really is a win for everyone. You know, as Eleanor said earlier, you know, by fighting food waste, not only is it good for the environment, but it's also great for your bottom line as well. So fighting food waste is that perfect nexus for you to be able to take a stance on climate change, whilst also protecting your bottom line. When I'm talking about this in a bit more detail, by fighting food waste as a food business, particularly in the areas in which you're working in, it's an opportunity for you to take responsibility. What I mean by that is taking responsibility of those internal and external perspectives of yourselves. So in research that we ran last year, 90% of employees of food businesses evoked emotions of distress and sadness when having to throw food away. So by actually taking responsibility of that food waste issue and doing something proactive about it, you're able to engage your staff on a much deeper level and hopefully retain them and engage them in the amazing sort of things in which you're doing. But additionally, what we've also found is that by fighting food waste, and often by doing so through apps like Too Good To Go, you're able to convert customers who are rescuing food from your premises into full paying customers. So over 76% of those using the app, using Too Good To Go, return to the food establishment as a full paying customer. And nearly all of these found it an incredibly easy and simple way of doing so. So here it's a huge opportunity for you as a business to take ownership and responsibility of how you are perceived externally when it comes to fighting food waste. Now, what I wanted to touch on next was really this important notion of collaboration and collaborating with your clients or with your suppliers to rescue food across the sector. Now, it's fantastic that Breaks have pulled this webinar together. And I really hope that you're able to speak with Breaks and speak with other suppliers in which you may work with to see and understand how you can reduce that food waste even further. I know many of the people on the call here are working in contract catering or in different facilities in which there's a relationship with an external client. Now, I wanted to highlight the importance here of working with these clients to ensure that any of this food that may be wasted can be collected, eaten, and enjoyed. Because the bread and butter of Too Good To Go is often in these public spaces in which you are a restaurant, a retailer, or something. But there's also a huge opportunity here to be working with your clients to ensure, as a contract caterer, that none of that food is wasted. Now, I wanted to highlight a partner we've worked with in the public sector, who have worked with the staff of these private buildings to ensure that over 700 magic bags of food could be rescued and enjoyed by the staff in these premises, really highlighting the flexibility of using a platform like Too Good To Go. And similarly, this flexibility extends to restaurants as well. So, where you are a cook-to-order establishment, that on-the-go wastage may not be as apparent, but there really is an opportunity to ensure that those ambient, those fresh ingredients, again, can be rescued and enjoyed. And we've been working with a number of different restaurant groups, one in particular, who has been able to utilize the Too Good To Go platform to ensure that as they're opening up, they're able to keep agile and keep flexible to these ever-changing demands and ensure that none of this produce has to go to waste. So how can you guys get involved? Well, what we'll be doing after this is sharing some more information and incentives around joining the Too Good To Go movement, joining the platform, so that you can get fighting food waste from day dot. So I really stress you all to reach out with any questions you have, and we'll share some more information after this. And any questions, please hold them to the end, and we'll do those at the live Q&A coming up shortly. Thank you very much, everybody, and I look forward to speaking to you all soon.
Thank you so much, Jamie. That was so interesting, and what a fantastic initiative. So yes, please hold some questions. I'm sure you'll have some for Jamie at the end. And I'd now like to hand over to Jenna from Arla Pro and Jason.
Hi, everyone. So Arla is a farmer-owned dairy cooperative, all about natural, high-quality dairy products. Arla Pro is the food service division which develops products with chefs for chefs. We're essentially a business working towards creating the future of sustainable dairy. And one of the ways we're doing this is prioritising the fight against food waste. So we're so delighted to be here talking to you today about this topic. Reducing food waste takes dedication all the way from cow on farm, right through to consumer and everything in between. It means things like optimizing production in our dairies, right through to utilization of really intelligent technology and collaborating with food banks. It's evident the war on waste is truly a team effort, and that's really shown by the collaboration involved in this webinar today. Most recently, Arla Pro have launched a helpful guide for the food service sector, working in collaboration with the Sustainable Restaurant Association. Now, this is full of hints and tips to understand how you can manage this challenge yourself and what to prioritise in your own kitchens. A link to this will be shared at the end. But for now, I'll pass over to our chef Jason for more information and inspiration.
Hi, I'm Jason Calcutt, the chef for Arla Pro UK. I've been working in the industry for over 20 odd years now, working in hotels, restaurants and all kinds of pubs. We're going to be talking about food waste from a chef and kitchen's perspective over the next few minutes. This has been a real big focus for us at Arla Pro this year, and we partnered up with the Sustainable Restaurant Association to come up with some great little hints and tips to help you tackle this with more vigour in 2021. Most chefs should be able to identify with this. When I was a young chef, one of the first jobs in the kitchen that was given to me was to top and tail some French beans. So they said to me, yeah, top and tail, take the tops off, take the bottoms off, and it's going to take you 10 minutes. Right, okay, so head down, cracked on, tops and tails off all the beans. Then I cracked on with the next mammoth job, which was turning a 25-kilo bag of carrots into tiny little barrels. Then all of a sudden this head chef comes down, and he comes down through the kitchen looking stressed. As he comes past my section, eyes up my bin, looks in there, then he takes the whole lot and just tips it out onto the top. I'm like, oh my God, chef, what's going on? So embarrassed, what's happening? He rummages through all the rubbish through the bin. Everybody's heads went down in the kitchen, you know how it is. So, and then he pulled out a green bean top. I was so embarrassed, what's going on? And then he explained to me, out of a green bean, what the customer actually probably paid for was about half of the bean, and the remaining few centimetres were what was going to be his profit. And through carelessly cutting these beans, I'd essentially cut his profit in half. That was a shock. I was like, how carelessly could I have been? I'd only been there for an hour in the kitchen, and since I'd been there, I'd cut his profits in half. And it really made me think about how every little job in a kitchen has an impact on the bottom line and the GP. From then on, I was going to have to trim more carefully and get creative with everything before it hit the bin. Knowing what is in your bin is really key to a profitable restaurant. Our research suggests that food preparation accounts for an average 45% of food waste in hospitality. So that's stuff and prep, offcuts, etc. 34% is from plates, stuff that comes back from customers, and 21% is about spoilage, all the stuff that's going off. Although food waste is paramount in a chef's mind, in a busy service it can feel like a war zone and corners can get cut. It's clear that everyone has a part to play. The key thing is understanding for you what is driving your plate, spoilage and preparation waste, then having a plan to reduce it. As well as being in the chef's interest, it's the responsible thing to do for the environment. Here are some helpful hints and tips. Getting everyone on board in the kitchen is clearly the hardest thing to do. So it requires a mindset shift for everyone. So make it easy with clear bin labelling and Clear rules and responsibilities of who's responsible for each area of waste. Conduct food waste audits with every new menu. Show and monitor targets to keep staff inspired. And encourage your staff to suggest ideas to help manage the waste. Food should feed bellies, not bins. That's it for me. Now I'll hand over to some of our Chef Hub members to hear more about their hacks, hints and tips.
Hi, I'm Ruth Handsome, head chef at the Princess of Shoreditch, and I've got a few tips on sustainability. So my first one is buying in animal toll. Obviously with fish, that's really easy. People do it very often. They break down the fish, they use the bones for stock. Some people dehydrate the skin and make little crackers out of it. It's a great idea too. But we also tend to buy whole animals, so lamb, pigs and cows. For example, our lamb dish, we break that down. Any tertiary cuts we braise and we make a little beignet. And then with either the rump or the loin, we pan fry that, slice it, and it just goes on the dish like that. And then we also use any bits of trim and bones to break down and make stock and then sauces. My next idea would be front of house, getting them involved, making sure portion sizes that come back from the guests, so you're not wasting any products and over making things. You're wasting your time then, and you're also wasting the product. Make sure your whole team's involved, ask them for any ideas, make sure everyone's if there's any bits of peelings, they're going into stocks, and just everybody's on the same page, and everyone's really enthusiastic about sustainability.
Hi everybody, my name's Mark Baber and I'm the owner of Woodfire Dine Pizzeria in Leeds and former winner of PAPA Awards Pizza Chef of the Year. Here are my 3 top tips for running a sustainable delivery-based takeaway kitchen. Number 1, plan your menu. The most important thing is your food has to arrive at the customer's house in the same condition as it left your restaurant. It has to travel well, taste the same and remain hot for when it gets there. Number 2 leads me on to packaging. That food has to stay in the same condition it left, so you need strong, durable, yet recyclable packaging. Number 3, we as chefs get to use great produce and great ingredients from all over the world. Why not let your customer experience that for themselves by sending out homemaking kits, things that they can do with friends, families and loved ones using the leftover ingredients from the restaurant that we're simply not going to use at the end of the week. I hope they've helped. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Jake Mills, a chef from Bristol, and my top tips when planning a menu would be plan around your current stock so nothing's wasted there. You could always put things on the specials board as well to use them up. And if a dish isn't selling particularly well and things are going to go off soon, think ahead, maybe put in a staff incentive so they get a prize for upselling that dish. Always go around the seasons as well when planning your menu, and you can always contact the suppliers to see if they've got anything that's going off that they might even give you a discount on and you'd use up as well, so that saves it going in the bin.
Hi, my name's Jason Rabborn and I'm Senior Food Development Manager at Grub. So I just want to take a minute of your time to talk about food waste and how we can reduce the food waste within Green King. So we tend to have bigger menus than some of the gastro pubs that are around us, so our menus are quite big. So how we try to do it is to try and cross-utilise some of the products that we have. So try not to have orphan SKUs. So if we have a sauce, how can we cross-utilise that across the whole of the menu? Try and use it 3 or 4 times in different guises to make up different dishes from it. That allows us not to have as much food waste going into the bin. We also work with our suppliers on how we can have different packaging, so that we don't transport air around, so that we're not putting a load of polystyrene and stuff into our bins. We also look about how we can cross-utilise the waste as well. So actually, can we grate the broccoli stalks, for instance, into our coleslaw, so that we don't have any wastage going into the bin. Now, at Green King, we want to be zero to landfill by 2022, if we can. So there's a few tips and hints really from us.
Thank you so much, Jason. I think we're now going to hand over to Mark to take us through some breaks, hints and tips.
Hello everyone. The negative impact of food waste on profit and planet is a challenge for all food businesses. Having heard from our speakers today, it is evident that now is the time to act. As chefs and caterers, we have a huge part to play. And with some creative thinking and focus, you really can produce delicious dishes with food that would otherwise be destined for your kitchen bins. So to help support you and your teams, we have pulled together a handy guide of hints and tips that will enable you to think about how you can implement positive changes now. We've also produced a short video showing some innovative ways to use up food waste and ultimately improve your GP. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and remember to download the guide at the end of this webinar. Thank you.
so much, everyone. I loved all those hacks. And thank you to all of our speakers today, Eleanor, Jamie, Jenna, Jason, and Mark. Some brilliant insight and hints and tips there, all about raising awareness, some tools, thinking about portion control and planning. Certainly, we have a role to play in the food service sector. And I think you clearly heard some quite startling stats as we went through the presentations on the amount of food that is thrown away and what we can be doing to try and manage it better. There's a few movements that you can clearly join, take pledges with. So the Guardians of the Grub pledge, getting the Too Good To Go app. As it happens, my bonus sauce factory already uses that. So I'm familiar with that app and it is brilliant. And also there's some clear ideas there on things like magic bags and hints and tips for yourselves in the workplace. So ultimately, it's about all of us working collectively together right through the food chain to minimise waste. So thank you so much again for joining. And I'd now like to hand over to a Q&A.
So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us this morning and for watching that video. We've got some absolutely fantastic resources to share with you and tell you about before we go to the live Q&A. So I was just going to put those on screen for you so you can see what they are, but we'll also talk you through them as well. That obviously includes an offer from Too Good To Go for you as well, which is really exciting. So without further ado, I will just get that up on screen. Okay, so you'll be able to download all the resources that we've got for you using this QR code here or this short URL link, but it will also be contained in the final video that goes on to YouTube and our event page within breaks.com. So if you haven't got your QR code ready, scanner ready, don't worry, you can download the resources afterwards. Just to give you a bit of a flavour as to what's in there for you, Breaks have put together some fantastic kitchen hacks for you. So if you enjoyed those recipes and ideas, we've got more for you in a short guide, along with lots of hacks for particular ingredients and some fantastic operational tips for you. Too Good To Go have put together a bit of a guide for you, which includes details of how to redeem that fantastic offer that they've put together for you. You can get your first 25 meals commission free with them when you sign up to use the service. So definitely don't miss out on that if you're not already on that service. App have put together a fantastic guide as well on all of the free resources that are available to you and those fantastic tools that they mentioned. That includes a cost saving calculator and details on their cost saving skills course that they mentioned in their presentation. So we check that out. And Arla, surely not last but not least, have put together an amazing guide full of hints and tips and tricks and details of their 5-point plan and some fantastic recipe inspiration for you, as long as some advice with tracking and reducing your food waste. So do check out those absolutely brilliant resources that are available to help you. And then just a bit of detail about the other webinars that are also part of the programme. If you missed the session on Natasha's Law, sort of an overview of a guide to compliance and what to prepare for that legislation coming in October, you can catch the replay of that on YouTube. It will be up there in the next 24 hours or so, so do check that out. But the rest of the programme just looks like this. So on the 22nd of June, we've got a brilliant session from CGA on latest consumer and food trends for the rest of the year and how the pandemic has changed the future of food. So don't miss that one. We've got a follow-up session planned on Natasha's Law to take you through what Breaks can help you with to prepare. That includes a brilliant overview of Virtual Chef Online, fantastic online tool that you can use to support your menu planning and creating labels and much more. On the 1st of July, we've got a brilliant expert session run by our wine merchant partners for Bendham on pairing food with wine. On the 8th of July, we've got the first of 2 social media sessions. This first one's all about kind of getting started, so perhaps reviewing your current social media strategy, having a look at what's working, how to measure success. So a brilliant kind of refresher session for anybody who's got a social media strategy in place or if you don't know where to start, some brilliant ideas and tips in there. On the 13th of July, we're delighted to be joined by Love British Food, who will be taking you through the benefits of having British food on your menu and some great ideas around that. And on the 15th of July, our final webinar will be a social media part 2, which is a really great session to cover 5 free tools that you can use within your business to kind of take your social media to the next level. So some fantastic webinars planned for the rest of the programme. So you go onto the Breaks website, you can find the event site from the homepage and sign up to those. And without further ado, we'll go on to the live Q&A. And we have had some questions come through, actually. So if we just start with the first one that I've seen, somebody has asked, how can I get traction in my organisation and get everybody behind minimising food waste? Have we got any kind of tips and ideas on that?
My suggestion would be sort of lead from the top on that. So if you're really keen on that in your organisation, you start leading and demonstrating it to your peers, then actually you can obviously get people to get buy into it, get them to come up with their own ideas and do some sharing on it. Certainly I think it's inspiring when you look at what other people have done on this webinar. You think, well, actually I could have a go at that. So I really think it's leading from the top and leading by example.
Yeah, I think building on what sorry, Jason, I think you're on mute or something's happened with your sound there. But yeah, I think building on what Kathy said there, it's really about speaking to those within your organizations for the benefits of fighting food waste. You know, I think we've all stressed throughout all of the speakers here about the environmental reasons for fighting food waste, the social reasons, but it also makes perfect business sense. And that there, I think, is at the core. So about engaging people there on its commercial validity, but also working on the hearts and minds of people as well as to the reasons for fighting food waste.
Yeah. Thanks, Jamie. Had one come through saying, do you have any top tips on how I can get my kitchen, bar and table waiting teams involved directly?
I think one opportunity is get them signed up to the Guidance of Grub online learning module. And I think, again, in response to the first question, it's ownership and responsibility. I think everybody is on board, essentially, and maybe we haven't asked the staff, well, what do you feel? What ideas can you bring to us that will help reduce food waste? I think everyone is now becoming more and more interested and the issues associated with climate change. So it's just having a discussion, having the kitchen talks, like what can we do differently, from today, from tomorrow, what can we do differently that's going to help reduce food waste and help the bottom line?
Yeah.
And I think the point around weighing waste, which I think was brought up earlier, that you very much people weigh waste, you then highlight it on charts, you show as you reduce your waste, how many that equates to in meals. I think highlighting and showing examples of it makes people think when you hear those horrendous stats. But if you brought it down to your own unit level and you could see how much you were throwing away, and equated it and saw improvements, then that would help as well.
I think going back to the webinar itself, as Eleanor said, it's very much about giving those team members tangible tools in which to engage in. So whether it's the resources through Guardians of the Grub, whether it's for using a platform like Too Good To Go, it's about empowering those staff members and having tangible resources and tools in which to effectively fight food waste on their day-to-day operations.
Yeah. Someone has asked, things are so busy for us at the moment. Are there any top things we could focus on to get us started?
Yeah, I'll pick that one up, actually. I think work with your suppliers. I mean, certainly at Breaks, we've got a team of chefs and we're constantly looking at ways to support customers. And food waste, as we know, is a huge challenge for food businesses. So come and talk to us. We'll have recipe ideas, get creative. We'll also talk to you about product solutions. It could be you take some of that strain away from the prep, particularly things like produce. So for me, it's certainly come and talk to us. We want to be involved. We want to help you as chefs, but also as a supplier.
Yeah.
And also say, take a look at portion control. Doesn't cost any money or take any time to put less on the plate. So if there's obvious issues of surplus from plate waste, then review that and then take away a couple of chips each time and see what the impact of that is.
I've had a question about, we use a lot of cling film and other kind of plastic related things for storing food. Do we have any tips on how we can reduce our use of plastic based catering supplies? Something that's very much on the mind of this organisation at the moment, I think.
I'm happy to take that. So, I mean, there's a lot of work that we've been doing to look at our problematic materials in the supply chain and working with our suppliers on that. And we have a whole agenda around plastics and usage. One of them being a commitment that we made a couple of years ago called 2020, which was all about taking hard black plastic out of the supply chain, something that we know is not easily recycled. It's something we continue to look at as problematic materials and what can and cannot be easily managed through the supply chain. So I think for us, it's about continuing to work collectively with the supplier base and with customers to look at how we can help minimize and manage that. There are solutions such as things like the Wrap Master, things like that I'm sure you've heard of, that we offer in our ranges, and we do offer a lot of sustainable options of products, but there are still some materials that are problematic to recycle. So again, as I say, it needs a collective response, and we're working actually again actively with Wrap and the Plastics Pact, a commitment that we've signed up to, that by 2025 we will look to be 100% recyclable, compostable or reusable where possible. So again, another industry initiative that we are actively engaged with at Break, certainly.
Thanks. We had a question from a school. We're a canteen that serves hot food and food to go. Do you have any specific tips for schools?
I think it often depends on what that food surplus is.
Mm.
You know, if it is still, is it preparatory surplus? Is it plate wastage, or is it edible food? You know, what I would really encourage any school canteens out there to please get in touch with us, because we've got some amazing sort of ways in which we can redistribute that food within your own school networks to families and things like that of pupils.
I think we've also done some work with some of our schools and colleges actually, where they're looking at changing the menu. One of our chefs has gone in actually sometimes, but we've actually done sort of taster pots of ideas that might go on the menu, get the kids to say, do you like it? If it was on the menu, would you eat it? To try and make sure that you're creating menus, you know, that the children will, or college students will actually enjoy. So engaging them in the meal ideas, and hopefully having less food waste if you know that you're doing things that they want to eat.
Yeah. Guys, I think that's the end of the questions that have come through. So all it remains for me to say is thank you ever so much to everybody who attended, and to our fantastic speakers and everyone that's contributed to this session today. We hope you found it really, really useful. Do feel free to revisit it any time on our YouTube channel or our event page within breaks.com, and you download those really helpful resources, and have a great rest of the day.